Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about the whole Gabby Petito situation because I saw an article earlier that I thought was pretty insane, man. Now, to go ahead and I guess preface this entire video, apparently America is suffering from something called missing white girl syndrome, according to some people, which is essentially a claim that America is only really fascinated if the people who go missing are like some sort of straight white male or woman, and basically insinuates that Americans don't generally care as much if people who are of, people of color origins, different ethnicities, people in the LGBTQ plus community, things like that, people who are kind of in minority groups in society, if they go missing, apparently America doesn't care, but if it's a white person, everyone freaks out. And the recent, I guess, big example that they've been using is Gabby Petito, who in and of herself has tragically become a pretty massive news story. So if you did not know, Gabby Petito was a woman who went missing a little while ago at this point. I mean, this story, it feels like, has been going on for like 2-3 weeks, something like that. Now that I found the Wikipedia, literally, as I was saying this, apparently she disappeared on August 30th. She was known for being an influencer who like lived out of her van or something like that and like took trips across the United States with her fiance. They found her remains in the Bridger-Teton National Forest in Wyoming on the September 19th, 2021, and an autopsy said that her, manner of death was a homicide/murder. From my understanding, they haven't been able to find this Brian Laundrie guy, who is, I guess, the suspect number one in this whole thing, and they've been looking for him for the last few days now. And it's evolved into a massive news story, okay? It's kind of sparked, this massive global, I guess, movement to help find justice for Gabby Petito, which obviously is very deserved. I mean, nobody deserves to be brutally murdered and, have their remains dumped off in the middle of a national forest. That's a pretty horrible thing to have happen to you. So obviously, this Brian guy needs to be found and the death needs to be solved. But people have been making it out as if this is some sort of racial issue, that, this whole Gabby Petito thing is a racial thing. People only care because she's a white woman. Now, to be honest with you, I definitely think that in some circumstances, maybe people do actually care, like legitimate racists care, but I really feel as if like the vast majority of people, the only information we really get for missing people is simply what the media gives us. So if the media just, hands us 90% white women being, I guess, going missing, then people are really only gonna respond how that information is designated to them, okay? I mean, the vast majority of people do not just go around looking for missing persons cases. They have to come to them through the news or through like an Amber Alert or something like that. Well, per usual, the media has taken off with this whole Gabby Petito situation. They've been writing, 24/7 articles about it and talking about it, and it's been upsetting some people. And this article that I saw, which is called Care About Gabby Petito, but Keep That Same Energy for People of Color and LGBTQ People Too, kind of just highlights, I think, a lot of problems with the argument that's kind of going on in this situation. So, Gabby Petito's disappearance and death have been all over the internet for weeks. We've seen timelines created, police body camera footage released, and even the social media feds jumped in to find the missing influencer. While hardly anyone would argue against showing support or care for any potential victim of violence, it's fair to say that there are quite a few who just want to make sure that we keep that same energy next time the victim isn't a cisgender white woman. Petito's harrowing case has generated mystery and suspense fueled by the media's response to her disappearance, but it led many to call out disparities with how missing young white women are portrayed in the media versus their people of color or LGBTQ counterparts, and are demanding the same attentiveness across the board. Now, as authorities continue to search for missing people like 19-year-old Maya Marcano, who recently vanished in Central Florida after failing to board her flight home, these activists' eyes are on the media to see if her story will be covered with the same fervor. People like MSNBC's Joy Reid referred to the disparity as, quote, missing white woman syndrome, a phrase coined by the late PBS anchor Gwen Ifill that speaks to the phenomena of the white spread, get it, white spread, media interest around stories involving missing white women. So they kind of tell the story realistically in the first two paragraphs here. I mean, the missing influencer is really the key word here. I don't think that this story would have ever have really became as big as it did if this woman was not an influencer. Like, I remember when this whole thing was starting to first break down, and that was what was in the title of like articles and stuff. It wasn't Gabby Petito missing, it was missing influencer Gabby Petito and shit like that. This case really got the attention that it's gotten because she was like a YouTuber slash Instagram star slash influencer, whatever, right? The point is I believe she had thousands, if not tens of thousands of combined followers by the time that she went missing, okay? So she had a sizable online following. She was Not just, some random person, I guess, who was just out, working at McDonald's, going to school or whatever. She was somebody who already had attention around her, okay? And I mean, if celebrities or something go missing, like, it's not a surprise that that comes up in the news a lot more than if someone else were to die. I mean, it doesn't make it right. Obviously, we should be, focusing on people going missing regardless, but the reality of the situation is if you have 50,000 Instagram followers and they notice that, you haven't posted anything in 3 weeks, a lot more people there are going to be asking questions about that than fucking, little Billy who lives down the block, okay? I mean, it really is just kind of common sense. I really don't think that this has as much to do with race as people are demanding. I mean, once again, certainly for some people, it may. There are people out there who are racist and hateful, but I feel like that it's being over-exaggerated, how much people just don't care about these other stories. And let's go ahead and talk about the real issue here, okay? So MSNBC's Joy Reid calls it white woman syndrome, but like I said earlier in the video, right, people really only know about people going missing and shit like that if the media reports on it, So, with that being said, it cracks me up that all these people who literally are part of the fucking media are the ones saying that it's basically our faults. We need to change our energy about how we look at things when it comes to people of color and the LGBTQ plus community. I didn't know that my brain was an automatic fucking police scanner just looking for missing people, okay? I didn't know that that was the case, but if you didn't realize by now, these people who are talking this kind of shit, they're the ones that are at fault for the problem that they're complaining about. So, this article comes from NBCLX, which is some sort of minor affiliate group or whatever of NBC, which is one of the largest news and broadcasting corporations in the world. So I went ahead and did a little bit of an advanced search, I guess, on Twitter, right? So I searched their account tweets for the phrase missing black teen girl boy, or I also looked for missing or black or teen or girl or boy. Just, to see if these people have, kept to their own word, right? We need to be talking about people of color going missing more often. We need to defeat white woman syndrome. And yeah, nothing came up. So not literally one time ever have they reported on, let's say a missing teenage black girl going missing, which happens. But yet they're telling us that, we need to keep that same energy when it happens, right? We need to care more. How the fuck am I supposed to care or even know anything about it if the media doesn't talk about it? Which is the case for literally everybody except for like the family and extended family of the people going missing. How the fuck am I supposed to know that a kid went missing in Boston if these people don't talk about it? But yet, they'll turn the blame back around on you, right? It's your fault. You don't care enough. You should care more. You need to do more to help these people. It's your fault, okay? You're the problem. And this is what really pisses me off about the media, okay? Because a lot of people, they're seeing this, and they're not even I guess, second guessing it or thinking even any deeper than what they're reading, right? Like, they're just reading it and soaking that shit in, and they're not realizing that it's not anyone's fault but the media's, that this problem supposedly even exists in the first place. And all this is gonna do is create more fucking division that doesn't need to be made, I don't know if the media's realized or not, but racial tensions are pretty much higher than they've been probably since the civil rights movement. I don't know many other instances except maybe like the LA riots and shit like that where tensions have necessarily been this high. You know what I mean? Like last year, this year, like it's been a little rough, right? Like people are not really in the same mental state that they've been, over the last, I guess my entire lifetime, really. I mean, shit's been pretty bad. Like a lot of bad stuff's been happening. And the last thing I think we really need right now is the media intentionally creating more fucking division based on racial lines. And at the end of the day, it's their fault. But you see, what they're doing is they're pretending to care. It's a classic media response. They're pretending to care, okay? They act like they care about Gabby Petito going missing, but they don't. As long as they can get 40 articles about it out on their website, 2 a day or whatever here, your little updates and shit with all these ads and everything, they're cool. As long as they're selling you racial division and telling you that, you don't care about people of color going missing and shit, even though it's their fault, you don't even know it's happening. And, they get them clicks, they get those views, they get that attention that they want, and the, I guess, side effects of it doesn't really fucking matter. At the end of the day, the media that's claiming so much to care about this supposed missing white girl syndrome does literally nothing to combat it, even though they literally could solve the entire issue themselves if they so chose to, but they simply choose not to. It's an issue created by the media for the media's profit, and I think that people, when they see this shit, they should just start saying, hey, okay, well, if you really think that, then where the fuck is your article about these people? Like, don't get it wrong, you know, I'm not against them talking about these things, right? Like, I'm seriously for it. Like, go ahead, talk about people who are missing. I don't care what color you are, you know, where you're from, what you represent, what sexuality or whatever you have. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, people still don't deserve to die and go missing and shit. Like, I feel like that's how the vast majority of people feel too. Like, I don't look at I don't look at it racially. When I'm looking at like a missing person, I'm not like, oh, what a cute little missing white girl. I hope she makes it home, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the thought that goes through my head. My thought is like, where the fuck are the parents? Are one of them missing? Have they stolen the kid? Where could they be? You know what I'm saying? Like, this type of shit just doesn't need to be happening. I mean, Gabby Petito's situation's already sad enough, and regardless of her race or sexuality or gender, I think that she deserves justice. And I think that's really just about as easily as you can say it. Like, everyone deserves justice regardless. I mean, it's just that simple. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, just talking about this whole situation and signing out.